Board games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Magnate is a game, and I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing. And today, sorry I started late, I am going to talk about the game known as Magnate. It was made by James Naylor, and making this game was their desire. Board game, it's what I'm talking about. Board game, I'm not gonna shout. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am Bez, and this is Bezzy Beats and Briefer Bledder. I do apologise for jumping on so late. Yes, I am like 13 minutes late for my stream. I do massively apologise. Getting here and cycling over was just a bit slower. My legs, I guess, are still a bit tired from last Thursday, which, wow, I did not think that I'd be feeling it for so long. Guess I'm just a bit older these days. But yeah. Hello, it is lovely to see you. I hope that you're generally well. Lucky 13. Why is it lucky 13? Oh, as in 13 minutes late. Okay. Ah, and thank you for coming in, Tanya. It's lovely to see you. Today, I wanted to talk a wee bit about a game I played yesterday. I don't know what's happened just there. It's like my internet went off briefly, but I seem to be back. But yes, I want to talk about Magnate, a game that I played for the first time. It's a game by James Naylor. It's basically all about buying buildings until there's a big market crash. It's always going to follow the same trajectory. You will buy land, then the cost of land will increase. Then you might think, oh, I wish I'd bought more land. But you only have so much money at the start. Money's really tight. It's a nice kind of scripted experience. Then you're going to put little houses or hotels or whatever on, and then you'll get tenants. You might get commercial tenants or residential tenants, or you might get a boutique or a restaurant or all sorts of things to come in. There's like 12 different types of tenants you can get. And yeah, it is a bit like Monopoly, definitely. I think that James kind of was very much inspired by the property management of Monopoly. And hello, Jess. It is lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me, even though I'm running late. And yeah, Monopoly isn't a swear. It's all good. Look, let me share a little picture. There we go. So there you can see a top-down view of the end game of Magnate. There's a board in the middle where there's things that no one can buy, and then the boards on the side. Every turn there's a few properties that go up for sale each turn, and you're going to be buying them as fast as you can. The yellow, red, green, and blue things are buildings, and those will be what you use to bring in the tenants. The tenants are the little tiles at the top there that you can see. And there's a lot of information going on. And at the end of the game, it's all about selling your buildings, not caring about the tenants, just selling everything before the market crashes. And suddenly, when there's the market crash, everything is worth like a quarter of the price. So you really need to get it sold. Let me do. Here you can see a little close-up of the buildings. They're very cute, and they are plastic, which of course is bit of an environmental impact, and they've got little slots generally, so you can put tokens in to show the ownership. Um, the money is, traditional paper-ish money. It's slightly laminated, it's slightly glossy, and so it does slightly stick together, I have to admit. It's not as nice as real money. It's not as nice as bits of paper that slide apart and stay apart. Um, yeah, here you can see a little close up of what's going on with the buildings, with a couple of the tenants. So there you've got small factory in, and these up arrows or down arrows influence the relationship between the different buildings. So with this small factory, that means that residents are less likely to want to move in. It devalues all, by having these big industrial complexes, it devalues all the houses there. So you're going to kind of end up potentially recreating something similar to what a real city might vaguely be like. I mean, not really, but there's a vague facsimile. Do you know what I mean? They need wooden houses, says Jess. Edinburgh, the board gaming. It's don't know why you bring up Edinburgh. I wouldn't say it's much like Edinburgh at all. But yeah, in summary, I think that this was a nice game. I think it was very nicely designed. I do think that for me, it didn't feel like there was as much agency, as much empowerment as I would like. But I would absolutely play it again. It's very much a game where you need to react. The game has a system going on. Prices are going to rise and then suddenly come crashing down. That is the way that the game always ends. The game always ends when the market crashes. And so there's a nice kind of arc. It's nicely scripted, and so it does work really well. But I can't help but come out of it and feel like, yeah, I won, but I didn't feel like I did a lot. I don't feel like all I was doing was reacting to stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so if you like a game where you're kind of watching things unfold, or there's a bit of a story and that's what you want out of a game, a bit of a story and maybe a shared experience, and you want to see prices rise and then prices drop, and you like that kind of, oh, who could react best to the changing market, then I think it's a great game. But if you feel like what you want from your games is a bit of frivolity, a bit of empowerment, a bit more agency, if that's what you're looking for in a game, you might want to look elsewhere. But having said all that, I do maintain that this is a fantastically designed game, and kudos to James. Hello, Josie. It is lovely to see you. This game is Magnate, the First City, by James Naylor. So, let me take a step back, having given my thoughts about this, and of course, if you want to ask anything more about this game, then feel free. Yeah, this is just a game that I played last night, and I did have fun with. I would play it again, but yeah, it's not exactly to my taste, but despite that, I can absolutely respect a lot of things going on with the design. It's like you're kind of influencing things in a very indirect way. It's even more indirect than worker placement, so it is kind of negotiating things. And I guess maybe I just don't like the financial economic world that much. Maybe that's what it comes down to, that I don't. But sure, if you want to have a game about buying houses and buying properties, I honestly can't think of a better one. I mean, I'm thinking of Acquire. I'm thinking of Acquire feels marginally more mathsy. It doesn't tell as much of a story. Suburbia feels even less interactive. This at least has the narrative of the stock market crash at the end. So yeah, I would, given the theme, if that's what you want for, then I would absolutely recommend it. And yes, Monopoly, I'm afraid, is not better in my opinion. This is definitely better than Monopoly, which, to be fair, given. Oh, why am I having. This is not good. It seems that my new Wi-Fi is actually unstable, so I am going to have to sort things out there. Apologies. But yes, let's move on, and let's move on to recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Recent highlights. So, what have been some of your recent highlights? What have been some of your achievements? Have you played any good games recently? Let me know. And as I talked about, I played Magnate. My highlights included playing the game of Magnate, playing that with friends. It's always a good time. Having a safe space to sleep. I just want to acknowledge that. Being able, not having to cycle back, just Krys being helpful. That was lovely. Achievements include all the stuff I posted, stopping my old rent payments, and keeping my old housemates informed of whatever's going on. And that is what's been going on with me. What has been going on with you? And Jess says, I enjoyed teaching my sugar lumps today. Oh, that's such a cute turn of phrase. They are cute, says Jess. Well, you are cute too. Josie received Mantis Falls and is yet to play it, as their son is away at uni. Oh, I'm not super familiar with that one. Let us know what you think when you get it out. And Jess wants to clarify the little cuties that Jess teaches are aged 13 to 16. Keep up the good work, and I hope that you continue sharing the joie de vivre and everything. We learnt about Bear Grylls. Feel free to keep sharing recent highlights, or indeed, you can share some questionably quick questions is the next section. It's not an interrogation, it's just a questionably quick question section. So if you have any questionably quick questions, then now is the time to get it. And, oh, hello, Claire, it is lovely to see you. I hope that you're generally well. Claire played Nancy Narkin. Oh, that's the one that's based on that Discworld. So by Martin Wallace, the reframe of Discworld Ankh-Morpork, where an old game goes for a ridiculous amount of money, and then they have a bunch of marginally symmetric people that are getting together, trying to take over a city, and then Nancy Narkin is the reframe, just to say, hey, this is this old game that costs like £150. Let's make a reframe based on London. Jess has a question. Should I go to the beach this weekend? If you're asking me, if you have the time and desire to go to the beach, I think you should. Go for it. And enjoy. I hope you enjoy it very much. That's Ko Samet. Josie says the components are solid for Mantis Falls and really well made. Hoping the play will be the same. It's on Board Game Arena, so might try to find someone online. Yeah, I think that trying game. I love Board Game Arena for getting more exposure for me to new games and just enjoying new things. And yeah, Tanya says the Kickstarter for Be Seeing You blew up, and Naga Demon, for those who don't know, National Game Design Month. Although it weirds me out how we talk about NaNoWriMo when it's really international, right? And surely it's not Tanya's desire to make this a national UK only thing. I mean, but yeah, Naga Demon does sound really cool. But yeah, it's really cool that you're kind of inspiring lots of people to make a game during the month of November. But just if you miss that, whenever you make a game, I truly believe that game design is a worthwhile thing for everyone, and just go off and enjoy it. There were lots of great new games completed. Check out Lost Among the Stars, Riot, Tag Modern, and Errand Goblins. And Restoration and Revolution, the game of making a portrait on a shortbread tin, your monarch. I love how Tanya's just like really enthusiastic about building up everyone else and kind of saying, look at all these cool things that everyone else made. Jess says, I might design a beach camping game. Go for it. Think about it. What would be in that beach camping game? How would that translate to a game? Of course, some things don't need to be a game, like meditation. Do we need a game about meditation? Would making it into a game actually destroy the essence of what it is? But yeah, I think that having something where if you think, oh yes, I want to turn it into a card game or a board game or maybe some sort of role-playing game, whatever you're up to, then go for it. Yeah, sure. Beach camping might need a game, indeed. And Tanya says, "Do it, Jess. Go and make the game." And I can always preface it with Inter Naga Demon. Okay, so that is a few questionably quick questions. Let's talk about a brilliant thing. Brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? So obviously the title up there or down there or whatever it's wherever it is about Magnate. And as I sometimes like to do when I'm talking about a game that I just played for the first time, I like to take a pause and think, why was this brilliant? Because it's so easy for me to just focus on the negatives of things, focus on how things could be better, and I think that's helpful. But at the same time, Magnate, it was a pretty gosh darn good game. So, why was it a brilliant thing? I'm going to say that there was seeing the different types of residents, that definitely gave it a bit of texture, a bit of flavor. Having the interactions between the industry and the retail and the commerce and the business, I think that's the last one. Like that, it brings an interesting sort of texture to everything. Okay, here, if you plonk down a house, you can get some extra money. It's interesting how at the start of the game you need to do different things to the end of the game, and so it's very much a continuation, like about escalation of prices, and then suddenly crashing. That is a really nicely done system. Genuinely, I think that it is fantastically designed. So every time you play it, it's going to go on this upward trajectory. Exactly how it moves up is going to be a little bit, different. It might move up like vroom, or it might move up like vroom. But however it moves up, it's going to grow and grow and grow until, oh dear, it's about to crash. And you're never quite sure when that crash is going to happen. I mean, it could happen this turn, it could happen next turn, it could happen the turn after that. You've got a reasonable sense because it's all done by cards. So cards make it move along a meter, and let me see if I can get a picture back up. So if you look at if you look at the place where the red pawn is, it starts off on the right, and then every turn it might move a little bit to the left, or you might have to flip more cards depending on what the players have done. And then if you flip more cards, there's more chance of it going more to the left. And then, yeah, that's basically it, kind of continuously going loop, loop, loop. And then you've got that tension. And that is a nice thing. So yeah, just to commend it. In the comments, Jess says, thank you, Tanya. You're one of my gaming idols. Wow. And running is brilliant. Josie says, I'd love to make a board game for work. I work in schools and support with careers, which can be such a boring subject. Yeah, if you want, and that's the thing, like if you are the caregiver, if you are the teacher, once you learn how to, the basics of making a game, I mean, I would love to work with someone if you want to potentially work together on something. And then, so I don't know what kind of things that you're work in schools and support with careers. Okay, so like, what would a game be like for you? And what kind of things are you actually teaching? What are you wanting to teach via the medium of a game? Like, what would that look like? And so, yes, definitely have a think about it. And once you get a first prototype together, that's the point where it's very much okay. You've got an idea of what you're going to do, you've got an idea of what you're going to teach, and then you've got an idea of, okay, this is the point of the game, and then you can bring it out and show it to other people, and they can put in input without hopefully you feeling like you need to take on board everything, because you need to listen to everything, but you don't need to act upon every bit of feedback, of course. Um, and Jess used to teach similar things. Yeah, something about decision making and luck. I mean, there's all sorts of. I mean, would a push your luck game be a thing there? I don't know. Like, there's a whole bunch of push your luck games already out. And when you're thinking of something like that, it might always be good to think about, okay, what already exists? Why is that not quite right? And once you think about why it doesn't quite fit, then you can learn about how to make it better for your particular needs. So, yeah, I am going to finish up unless anyone has any other questions or anything or comments. But yeah, let's move on and say over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. Today, I am going to be doing a bunch of, yeah, doing a wee bits of drawing, trying to get ready for Dragon Meet. That's pretty much what I'm going to be focusing on the next couple of days. Getting my stock sorted, getting myself ready for Dragon Meet, and hopefully getting rid of this light cold that I've got. But yeah, and there's quite a few new orders in the past week that I'm excited to send out. And it's lovely to see that people are sending out things, and I'm looking forward to, fingers crossed, a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and watching out for turnips. I think that might arrive today. Fingers crossed. Josie says, I'm working, but currently doing the washing up, as I have let it build up. I know how that is. Sometimes it can be quite satisfying to have a sink full of dishes when it's your stuff and you're like, okay, now I've got the achievement and now it can be tidy for a wee bit of time. And having like this massive change in cleanliness, it can be good. So enjoy that. I've talked about a wee bit today. I'm going to do a recap and wrap up before I finish up. I talked about Magnate. I think it was a very well designed game. For me, it had less empowerment and joy and frivolity and agency, frankly, than I would like, but it was a really nice game about reacting to market conditions. It was a fantastic game, and I would absolutely play it again. If someone said, hey, do you want to play Magnate? Absolutely, 100%. I would cycle over to play Magnate. Talked about a wee bit about hiking, a wee bit about making games, about Naga Demon, about maybe making games about camping or making games about teaching. And I would very much encourage everyone, if you're thinking, oh, should I make a game? Should I not? Start. Think about it. Think about what you would like to make and make a prototype. If it's It's not something that I would say everyone has to do it. I'm not that dictatorial, of course, but if you're curious, give it a go. It's within the limits of everyone, I promise. Um, and yeah, if you want to make a game for the L deck, then of course there's a competition every year on 1st of August. But if you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez everywhere. I am trying to do a stream every day at 10 a.m. UK time until maybe Sunday. And then I will take a 5-day break and I will start an extended stream on Saturday the 11th with lots of special guests. Feel free to share, spread the word. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching live, and also thank you to everyone who will be watching after the fact. Thank you to Tanya and Jess and Josie and Claire and everyone for jumping in. And I hope that you have a wonderful, fantastic, lovely day. For now, there's not much left to say, other than bye, 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, lots of love. Oh, bye-bye, Tanya. Bye, Jess. Bye, Josie. Bye, everyone.